to teach you today the fastest methods to reading music, and this is a follow-up to a lesson I put out recently under the same name. This is the fastest method to reading music, so I highly recommend you check out that lesson probably after our session here today. You can watch this first and then watch that after, but I do recommend watching both, because what we're going to do today is review some of the things I talked about in that lesson and giving you an extra opportunity to practice some of those things. So we are live. Let me know that you are here in the chat. Always love to hear from new and returning students, especially let me know if you can't see me or hear me. But let's get on with the lesson here. Let's not waste any time, and let's go. All right. Yeah, that's what we'll go with. Let's see here. So I have a question for you guys, actually, in the chat while I get the introductory topics going. And I want you to answer this question. It's required. We will not continue unless you answer this. It's kind of a joke, but I would appreciate if you answered it. The question is, what is the biggest struggle when it comes to reading music? Is it remembering the lines and spaces? Do you struggle with ledger lines, or you struggle with reading fast? Let me know in the comments. Again, hearing from you guys really helps me learn where you guys are at, helps me make better lessons, and it also helps us share as a community. So let me just get one final thing ready here. Hold on. There it is. Sorry, I just need to bring up the chat real quick. I don't know why it wasn't ready to go ahead of time, but sometimes things get a little bit out of sorts, out of order. Hello, everybody. Welcome. All right, we got Franz here. We got Trixie. Ed here. Ed says eyesight is what they struggle with. For reading fast is what Franz struggles with. Ledger lines and fast reading is what Trixie struggles with. So all of you, I want you to watch the lesson I put out if you haven't already. It should help you catch up on some of those things, but we're going to go over some of those things certainly today. X says, I finally got my own keyboard. The curse is finally broken. Well, that's excellent to hear. All right, let's get on with it, since I'm sure a lot of you guys, are here to learn today. What is going on today? I'm sorry, guys. I have all sorts of weird stuff going on. That's not doing it either. I don't know, but we're gonna read it like this. Here we go. All right, how to read notes on the staff. First, we need to talk about this. This is a quick review in case somebody doesn't know this. We're gonna try to get this done in 2 minutes. Are you ready? So see the music in front of us right here. We have two staffs. There's a top one and a bottom one, just like that. And the top staff is what we call the treble staff, or that symbol over there in the top is the treble clef, that fancy looking G. And that is going to be played mostly with the right hand from middle C, the C in the middle of the piano, all the way up on the keyboard. And just to let you know, you can find C by finding a group of 2 black keys down and to the left. And then it's just in alphabetical order, C, D, E, F, G, and then it repeats A, B, C, in case you didn't know that. Now, to memorize the staff, I recommend memorizing the lines and spaces. So the lines of the treble clef from the bottom to the top are this. They are E, G, B, D, and F. Starting here, middle C, the first E we want is right here, and they're just going to skip up every other note. So E, G, B, D, and F. And that's where the lines of the treble clef are. And you're going to want to practice those. I'll tell you how to do that in a minute. The spaces, and you always want to do from the bottom to the top, because if you do it any other way, you'll get it wrong. And the spaces in between those lines are F, A, C, E. Starting from this F above middle C, F, A, C, E. All right, we're just going to jump right to the lines of the bass clef, because like I said, this is just kind of a review for if anybody is brand new. And the lines of the bass clef, now the bass clef, the bottom line, you're going from middle C basically down this way, and your left hand is going to be playing with the bass clef. And the lines of the bass clef, so here's C, here's one C below middle C, and you go to a G right below that. That's your first line of the bass clef, and those notes are G, B, D, F, A. They skip every other one. So you start on this G, you just go G, B, D, F, A. Spaces of the bass clef, again from the bottom to the top, are A, C, E, G. I like to associate a saying to some of these, like all cows eat grass. And you're going to start, you remember where that G was a second ago? You start one note above that A, and it's A, C, E, G, or all cows eat grass. All right, now question for you guys in the chat. Does anybody have any questions about reading on the staff? I could go in a little bit more detail about it today, but remember, we're doing the more advanced reading strategies. But if there's somebody that needs a little more practice on this stuff, let me know. We can spend a few more minutes on it. All right, just to say hello to some people today, we got Sylvia here. Good morning, Tim and everybody. I struggle with reading notes fast. That's good to know. I'll keep that in mind. I struggle to remember how to play again. Wonderful. All right, let's continue here, guys and gals. I guess I can just say guys. That's gender neutral, I think. Anyway, let's continue. All right, actually, you know what? We're going to practice it because I have no idea why that view messed up now. But anyway, because I messed this up. Or not messed this up. I planned ahead. That's what I meant to say. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write like 4 notes. We're going to do this real quick. And you're going to have to tell me what those 4 notes are. We're going to do 4 on the treble clef, 4 on the bass clef. And so we're going to test your knowledge. Oops. Okay. In the chat, you have to tell me, and then I'll play them on the piano for you. What 4 notes are these? Ready? Go. We're not moving on until I get an answer. And while you guys take a look at that, I guess I'll write out the bass clef notes. So, take note of that, and I'll come back to it in a second. Let me write out some bass clefs. All right, what are these 4 notes from left to right? You got to tell me. I'm not letting you go on this. F, C, A, G, somebody says. That is correct. So from left to right, F, it's up here. And you got C, you got A, and G. It looks like you guys are pretty good with this. That's excellent. Thank you. All right, now, bass clef notes. Let me make sure you can see them. What 4 notes are these? I have to have an answer before we move on. I have to make sure you guys are all correct. It looks like everybody got the right answer, which is amazing. So I know you guys are good on that stuff. But what are these 4? You know what I should do? I should make a prize for the first person who gets it right? Because I think that would really, you guys would be like, man, I need to get in there fast. Okay, we got from Ed Gear here, our #1 student today, as you can see by his crown. We have A, which is down here. We have G, up here. A, and E. And Trixie says agar. Well, there is no R. I assume you meant to say E. You said agar again, Trixie. I think you meant to, is E close to R? It is. E is right next to R on the keyboard. All right, guys. Very good. Very good. All right. You've got it correct. Let's continue here because we have much more to cover. Okay. Let's just continue here down on the list. Intervals. So now we're getting into the more advanced strategies of reading. And we're going to talk about what an interval is and why they're helpful first. So let's talk about it. Okay, say I have E, the bottom note, and then F, the next note, right here. And you play them at the same time. And it doesn't matter whether they're at the same time or separately. That is what we call an interval, because you have 2 notes, and there's some distance between them. And the distance is a second, 1, 2. If you move one of the notes up one, where you have a note, and then you skip a note, that is what we call a third. So remember when we were doing the lines of the treble clef, and I started to start from E and skip every other note? Well, that is what we call skipping up in thirds. You're actually going 1, 2, 3, like that. So from E to G is a third. From E to A is, what do you think? 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you catching on? So in intervals, the distance between two notes, they go from seconds right next to each other. You just count the notes and all the notes in between, 1, 2. And then they go from second to third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. And then the last one we call an octave because it goes from E to E. Octave means 8, kind of like an octopus, has 8 tentacles. An octave has 8 notes. So here's a fourth, and I'll tell you where this comes in a second. We got a fifth right here. 6 looks like that. 7. An octave almost takes up the entire staff. Now, why am I telling you all this? Well, you can use intervals in addition to memorizing the lines and spaces on each staff to be able to read music much faster because it gives your brain more information to go on. Let's continue talking a little bit about intervals, and I'll show you some more examples. So this is a second. You want to be able to read these visually very quickly. A second is so close together that they have to like sandwich them side by side. Do you see that? And then when you move up one to a third and beyond, they kind of stack vertically then if they're played at the same time. So just keep that in mind. You know a second right away because they're sandwiched together, and then a third and beyond, they look more like stacked vertically, kind of like a snowman. So a third is very easy to identify because if one is on a line, the next one is on the next line. But what if one starts on a space? If one starts on a space, the next one is on a space. And the way that I would verbalize this is that this is a, they do match is what I'm trying to say. So if one is on a line, the other is on a line. If one's on a space, the other's on a space. And we're going to see that pattern here in a minute. A fourth is a bit further away than a second, right? Because you don't need to sandwich them side by side. Instead, they're still stacked. But what pattern do we notice here? The bottom one is on a space, and the top one is on a line. So actually, they don't match this time. And you're going to see this come up in just a second, because let's talk about fifth now. Okay, here is our fifth. One's on a space, the other's on a space. So, it sounds like there's some sort of pattern going on. They match again. Remember that the third also matched space to space or line to line. And just like the third, you can move them up or down. It's just, it's the same distance. It's just if one's on a line, the other's on a line. It's just now this time there's a kind of an empty line or empty space in between. See how there's that empty line there? So if you see that, it's like a stacked snowman with the middle kicked out. That is always a fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you put your thumb naturally on the piano and lay your fingers across, your pinky should automatically hit a fifth pretty much every time. So a little bit of a shortcut for you, at least on the piano. Now here's a sixth. The question is, do these match? And the answer is no, right? One's on a line, the other's on a space. If we move this up one, one's on a space, these others on a line. And somebody almost actually does have the answer. So Jojo in the comments has it. Joe Jr., I should say, not JoJo. Sorry, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure on the mind. Joe Jr. says matching is odd. Thank you. So the numbers 3, 5, 7, they do match. So if you see them match, you have an odd number interval. Very, very good. Perfect statement. And if they don't match, then you're dealing with some sort of even number interval. And this one happens to be a 6th. And I always like, the first question I always ask when I see these, the first question I ask is, do they match? Yes or no? If they match, it's odd. If they don't match, it's even. Then I ask myself, how far apart are these? Right? Is this a second? There's no way this is a second, right? But you know it's an even number interval. But a second would be too close together. So this is a bit further apart, and it's not even far enough apart for a 4th. It's far enough apart for a 6th. So you want to first ask yourself, do they match? And then eventually start to visually identify how far apart these are. And over time, you're going to get pretty good at it, because an octave is always going to look the same way. But you always want to ask yourself, do they match? And actually, an octave is the perfect... I keep doing this. Sorry, the computer's misconfigured today. But an octave is the perfect thing to bring this up with, because you might see something like this, and you go, oh, that's an octave, clearly. You know, it takes up the whole staff pretty much. But it really isn't. It's actually too far apart. This is actually what we call a 9th. Remember this, always. Octaves, right? It's a nice even number interval. You might think, oh, the notes match. But remember, it's an even number interval, so they don't match. So an octave isn't this. It's this. So if you see something really far apart and they don't match, it's almost the whole staff, but not quite. Octave. Almost, well, every single time. All right, good. It seems like you guys are getting it pretty well. Let's continue here. Any questions about that so far? Let's do this. Let's practice some intervals. I am going to, let me bring up a page for us to practice for a second. And we're going to see just how good you guys are. We're going to put it to the ultimate test. Okay. Interval. Oops. Misclicked. There it is. All right, let's go here. And let's do the laptop or the piano as well. Okay, now, what interval is this? You should know 3, 2, 1. It's a second, right? And it's E and F. So what I want you to do, actually, let me show you the entire page here. What is going on with this? Sorry, guys. There we go. There we go. What I want you to do, so you want to go to musictheory.net. That's where we found this. I guess I should have shown you this. And you want to go to exercises, and you want to go to interval identification if you want to practice this on your own. And we already know that's a second, right? Boom. What interval is this? It's stacked like a snowman. They match. That has to be a third. And at first, all you got to do is really select the right number interval, right? Now let's make sure we have the right settings here at the top. Okay, when you do the settings, set them to this. You want to make sure that render quality is off, because if you hit it on, it's going to really complicate things down here. And we didn't really talk about some of this stuff yet. And it's not really the point of what I'm trying to get to. So just make sure you have it set appropriately. And boom, what is this one? I'm going to make you guys answer this one in the comments, or the question, or the live chat. I can't, my brain isn't configured right today either. I am a bit tired today, so I do apologize. But anyway, you have to tell me, what interval is this? The first person that gets it will get a lot of respect from me. How about that? But you got to tell me before I move on. I'm forcing you to do this. A fifth is very close by Ed Gear. A good guess. Not quite. Remember that a fifth is an odd number interval. So they would match, right? If one's on a line, the other's on a line, space or space. This is on a line, and then the top one's on a space. Sixth, exactly. Ed corrected it just perfectly there at the end. We got X here too with the right answer. So thank you guys. Yeah, exactly. That is a sixth. Boom. Let's just do two more, and then I want to show you what I want you to build on this, how I want you to build on this. What one is this one? You got to tell me right away. Remember that they match. It's like a snowman with the center kicked out of it. And it should be pretty easy, I think. Well, this one's not an octave, right? Remember, an octave is 8. And you got to remember, do even numbers match or they don't match? And it's the opposite of what you would think. Even numbers actually don't match. So if it was an octave, they actually wouldn't match, and they'd be a little further apart. But a good answer. All right, Terry's got it with fifth. Perfect. All right, very good. Fifth. Yep, so that's a fifth. Remember that if it's 3, 5, 7, or 9, that they match. Let's do a few more of these. I need to walk you guys through the thought process, I think, a little bit. So I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to walk you through what I'm thinking when we do it. Okay, so I see this right away, and you may say, all right, it's a second, very clearly. That one's pretty easy, right? It's the only one where they're sandwiched together. So you can use that logic. Let's just answer that one. I want a tougher one. There we go. This is perfect. Okay, I see an interval. The first question I'm going to ask myself is, do they match? Now, the bottom one is on a line, the bottom note. The top note is on a space. So they actually don't match. And remember, if it doesn't match, it's got to be either 2, 4, 6, or 8, right? 2, 4, 6, or 8 is the answer to this. It can't be 3, 5, 7, or 9 because those are odd number intervals. And for that to be the case, both of the notes would have to match. The bottom note's on a line, the top note would have to be on a line. But this is line and space. So it must be an even number interval, 2, 4, or 6, and Trixie's got it right. It's actually a sixth. It's way too far away to be a second. A fourth would be a little closer, and you'll get the hang of getting fourths and sixths. That can be a little bit of a problem. And this is a little further away to a sixth. Good, you guys are getting the right answers now, so that's good. I'm going to take a look at this one. This is a perfect follow-up. I'll answer this one too, or walk you through it. I see this one right away. Do they match or don't match? Well, the bottom note's on a line. The top is on a space, so they don't match. Remember, matching is line to line, space to space. So they don't match. So our things to select from are 2, 4, 6, or 8. And this is an even number interval, and it's a little closer than it was before. So it's got to be a fourth. So all the people saying fourth, congratulations, you got it. So Katarzina, sorry if I mispronounced your name. They don't match, so it's a 6. You're very close. The 6 is a little too far apart. This is definitely 4. Good job, guys. All right. What is this one? This one is a second, right? Boom. All right, you guys are getting better at this. I'm getting a lot more right answers in the chat. So I want you to practice this on your own. And what I want you to do is I want you to first just determine what number it is. So I'm looking at this one. They match, so it must be some sort of odd number interval, right? 3, 5, 7, or 9. And this is pretty far apart. It has 2 empty spaces in between. So I'm going to say that's a 7th. Very good. And Ed says second for that last one. Good. So my point is I want you to first determine the interval. And then I want you to begin playing them on the piano once you feel more comfortable. Yes, people are saying 7th. You guys are getting all the right answers now for the last one we did. That's perfect. Good job. All right, I'm more confident in your ability now because I remember the first few we did, I was getting a lot of mixed answers. So I was like, I feel like some people are off the off a little bit. And if you're getting some of these wrong, don't worry, just keep practicing them. It takes time because there's a lot of thought process involved. Do they match? How far apart are they? What does a 4th look like compared to a 6th? And these are all things that you're going to get more and more used to as you practice. You start looking at these intervals and you start practicing them with the website that I gave you. All right, very good. Let's continue today. My good old PowerPoint. I still don't. What is going on there? Oh, you know what? Is it this? Is it this? Oh, got him. I figured it out. I'm so happy. All right, good. I don't like when stuff doesn't work, as you can probably tell. Anyway, I have a second question for you guys here. Another question for you, chat. Again, it would really help me if you can answer. And the question is, what is this note? So I'm going to pick a note for you guys, and you're going to have to tell me what it is. Let's do that. Here we go. All right. You can't see what's going on. Here we go. What note is this? It's in the bass clef. It's the top line. You got to tell me what it is. You know, it's just your quiz question. Remember from the bottom to the top, you know, G, B, D, and then the rest. So you got to tell me. Ed's got it right away. That is an A. Awesome. All right. Intervals moving across is a little trickier. I agree. So if you're trying to figure out the intervals, you know, real quick, it does take time. And if you're struggling with those, I'm actually going to mark down that you guys maybe need a little more, not only interval practice, but with the ledger lines as well. I think I'll make a lesson just on that. A, perfect, good. Now, Joe Jr. was very close by saying F. That would have been the top line of the treble clef. But remember, the bass clef is G, B, D, F, A. And if you need more practice on these basics, like just how to read on the staff, maybe we're moving a little fast, maybe you're getting some of this stuff, but not the others, I want you to check out a video I put out recently called How to Read Music in One Easy Lesson. I think I linked in the description for you guys a playlist, I think, that has that video. I hope that I did. Let me check right now. Make sure I got it. The original lesson. Okay, yes. So it's all in the description for you. Just click on watch the original lesson. This is the fastest method to reading music. And that lesson will also help catch you up on this stuff. All right. Remember, links in the description if you need it. All right, guys, let's continue here. Okay, you guys are getting all the right answers. I love it. Love it. Here we go. All right, you guys got the right note. Very good. Okay, interval practice. We just did that. Oops. Okay, let's do this. I want to tell you guys about the ledger line trick real quick. Or actually, you know what I want to do first? Because I noticed something when I was asking you guys questions. Let me get this sorted out here. Okay, I want to do fourths and sixths really quick, because those are the two that really confuse not only just you guys, but a lot of students, because they look very similar. This is a fourth, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how you play it on the piano. And that's a sixth. They look very similar. They're just a little further apart, right? And they're both even number intervals, so they don't match. And I think the real key is really figuring out, like, how do you figure out a fourth versus a sixth? So let's take a look at the sixth first and see, like, how much space we have going between each notes. So we have our starting note. We go up one note, 2, 3, 4, and then there's a pretty good space in there. There's about 5 like lines and spaces in between to get from G to E, since we're moving 5 to get up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, you start on the first note and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're at the note. I think you got that. But a fourth is just a little bit closer together. Again, it looks very, very similar. There's really only a space and a line between those, rather than, a space, a line, a space, and a line. So just look at the distance between them and determine whether it's a fourth or a sixth. So let's try that. All right, I wanted to write a few in for you. Okay, we're going from left to right here. This one right here, what is this first interval? Is it a fourth or a sixth? And this one in particular that we're taking a look at, this, well, let's take a look at how much distance we have here. We got a line, a space, a line, a space, and then another line to get there. So a pretty decent amount. On this other one over here, you know, we start on this line and we just go up, bump, bump. So there's a lot less movement going on, you know, between these two notes than these two notes. So this first one has to be a sixth, right? And, you know, you can probably deduce that this is a fourth. Okay, now we're on to the second pairing here. What interval is the first one now? Is that a sixth or a fourth? So you guys are getting really good on the last one that we did. But what is this one? Is this a fourth or a sixth? I'll wait until I get the answer, of course. Okay, we got a 6, a 4, and it is a fourth indeed. The other one was a 6 before, so this is a fourth. Let's take a look at this one right here. So you guys did good on that one. Getting the right answers there now. What about this one? So let's take a look at this one. So they don't match, right? And let's just kind of like make some markings to see how far. So we got to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, you got to go up quite a bit to get to that second note, as opposed to this one where you really only have to move up a lot less. And that second one's a 6. Very good, Ed. Ed seems to be really catching on now, which is great. And I think a lot of you guys are as well. Okay, I'm going to give you guys a second to catch up. I'll play these. This is a fourth up here, and then we got the sixth down there. All right, good. Yeah, Sylvia got the right answer. That second one is a sixth. Very good. Okay, let's do these. Now, this one's a tricky one. Not so much this one. What is this one first? Is this a fourth or is this a sixth? Fourth or sixth on this one. And I'll stay on it until I start seeing some answers come in. Okay, we got a fourth. We got another fourth. And from Terry, we got another fourth. And guess what? It's a fourth. So you guys are starting to get pretty good at this. Now, this is a trick question. This one over here. This one right here. What interval is this? It's not 4 or 6 on the second one. The next one is not 6th. I tricked you. This one over here, right here, is not 6. I tricked you guys on purpose. This one's 4, so you guys did get that one right, so that's perfect. And then what is this one right here? Ed's got it right with 5. Very good. Terry's got it right too. Exactly. So this has to be a 5th, right? Because they match. You know, space and space. Space and space. So it's got to be an odd number interval, 5. And you guys caught on with that. That's very, very good. So I'm very happy about that. Perfect. Excellent. So I have a question for you guys, because I'm noticing some things with the numbers in our live attendance and things like that. Just an observation I made. Do you guys, when we do the live, well, maybe I can't get a good answer for this, but you know what? I'm going to hold off on the question. I had a question I wanted to ask you, but I'm going to do some analysis behind the scenes to determine the answer, because I think I'll get some mixed answers here if I ask it. I just kind of like to know where you guys are as students, but I think we'll move on for now. Okay, very good. We have more to cover, at least a little bit more. Okay, we can go over some intervals, or we'll talk about that in a second, but we'll do this first. So maybe we'll go over some what are those called, ledger lines here in just a minute, since I know that I think Sylvia said that you struggle with those. So I want to get some more practice in with some ledger lines and teach you those rules. But first, so if you like today's lesson and you're like, man, I really want to support what Tim does, I want to support piano lessons on the web, and here's just a little list of ways you can do that if you want. You know, if you just want to keep attending regularly to these live streams and watching the videos, and that's all you're able to do, I just want to let you know I appreciate that so much. Actually, that's a great way to help. But if you're looking for something maybe beyond that, you know, leaving a super chat is always nice. There's a little like money button or something. They always change where it's at, but it is right there. You can leave a super chat if you want, just kind of showing you guys where it's at. And then some other ways that you can support us is by becoming a channel member. And then the best way, I think, is by signing up for courses over on my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com, because not only do I get the biggest share of money out of that because I don't have to pay YouTube their share, but it's a great way to invest in your own music education as well, because you get courses out of it, which is why it's my favorite, because you get, you know, additional content. But that's totally up to you guys. I just want to let you know about that if you wanted to support us. Now, the one thing that I wanted to say is I wanted to move on to chord identification, and I'm going to leave that for the full video for you guys to watch, because I don't want to cover, I want to give you guys like incentive to watch both the video and the live stream update, and I'll give you an update on that in a second. So for chord identification, being able to look at a chord from sight, being able to determine like what position it's in, like what the root of the chord is, check out the lesson I made just recently, just this last week. Again, it's called This is the Fastest Method to Reading Music, but it's just like a full-on lesson. And the link is in the description for you guys. All right, let's continue here. And then I got a couple announcements before we go today. All right, any questions? I'm intrigued, says Trixie. Excellent. Can you put the website in the chat so I can go to it? And I just got on, so thank you very much. Sure. Do you mean my website or you mean the chord? Let me give you a few here. Let me get in the chat and get you guys some links here. So this is my website for courses, and I'll type that in for you. And then you wanted a link for the original lesson, probably. Watch this lesson right after how to read as fast as possible. There's that one, I think. Is that the right one? Yes. All right. All right, I think I got you guys the right stuff here. In the chat. Let me know if you need any more links, and I can hopefully help you out. All right. Let us continue. That's right, we're doing this. So there's one last thing I want to show you guys today, and I actually did not cover this, I believe, in the lesson that I put out. So I'm glad you're here, because you're actually going to get a little more, although I have covered this before, but I want you to know about it because it's really important. Full screen laptop. Okay, sorry. I think I want this one. There we go. So when we have notes and they go up far up off the staff, we need to add these things called ledger lines, which helps us tell basically where we still are in the music. And as you can tell, that's pretty far up there. So ledger lines a lot of times will confuse students because they're not our normal like E, G, B, D, F, F, A, C, E. It kind of changes a little bit, but I'll tell you how to become prepared for reading these super fast. So here are a few ledger line rules to get it right. Okay, let me do this first. Okay, here's the first rule. The spaces of a staff, F, A, C, E, are equal to the lines going up off the staff, but an octave higher. So if this is F-A-C-E, these 4 notes right here, these 4 notes right here are also F-A-C-E. They're just up an octave. So remember, the spaces of a staff are equal to the lines going up off the staff starting from the top line. So F-A-C-E, F-A-C-E. Next rule for you, the lines of a staff are equal to the spaces going up off the staff starting from the top space. So if this is E, G, B, D, F, this is E, G, B, D, F. It's just up, starting up an octave. E, G, B, D, F. Just like that. So let's try this note right here. So this is on a space. It's actually a space right above the staff. And remember what I said, that the spaces of that the lines of a staff are equal to the spaces going up off the staff starting from the top space. So if these were E, G, B, D, F, then this has got to be E, and that one is a G right there. So that's how you use this to figure it out. It's going to take some practice to get this right, and Ed Gear got it right perfectly first try. Yeah, G. So good. You guys got it right. You guys are catching on fast. Now, oops. Now this is where it gets a little hairy. The lines of a staff are equal to the spaces of a staff, or going down below the staff, starting from the top line, but in reverse order, because now we're going from the top of the chord and we're going down. So it's not E, G, B, D, F from the bottom to the top. It's actually F, D, B, G, E down here, or if you do it from the bottom to the top. So it works the same way as when it was going up off the staff. It's just now in reverse order because we're going down the other way. So this is E, G, B, D, F, or F, D, B, G, E, and this is F, D, B, G, E. And the more you practice this, the faster you'll get at it. Okay, spaces of a staff, F-A-C-E, are equal to the lines going down below the staff, but in reverse order. Because remember, we're going from the top of the chord down. So if this is E-C-A-F, this is E-C-A-F from the bottom down. Yeah, and this is definitely going to take you some time to get right, but keep these in mind, practice them, and you will get that much better. All right, guys, any questions? We have a few minutes left before we adjourn today. I guess for anybody new here, I want to kind of fill you in on what this channel's about, what our content strategy kind of is going throughout the year, so we're all on the same page. And here's how things are going to work. So Saturdays, right, like today, next week, the same time on Saturday, we're going to have another live stream. In fact, every Saturday, unless something weird happens, I get sick or the power's off. It doesn't happen often, but, it can. Every Saturday, right, we're going to have a live stream at this same time. Now, for me, I started at 10:15 in the morning, my time. I don't know what time that is for you, but I will tell you this. I post the live stream a few days ahead of time. And if you click on the live stream before before it starts, it will tell you going live in 24 hours or going live in 2 hours. And you can use that to figure out, YouTube will basically convert it to your time is what I'm trying to tell you. So every Saturday at the same time, we're going to have a live stream. And I hope to see you next week. It was great seeing you guys today. I always love to see new and returning students in our classroom. So you are invited personally next week. Your personal invitation's in the mail. It may get lost. I don't know. I'm just kidding around. But you are invited next week. And then on Sundays, so Saturday's live stream, Sundays, new videos coming out. So what does that mean for tomorrow? There's a new video coming out at 10:15 in the morning. So remember, weekends, Saturday live stream, Sunday video, Saturday live stream, Sunday video, Saturday live stream, Sunday video. You know what I mean? So I think you guys got the thing. And then once in a while, like I said, if it's a holiday, like if Christmas or whatever happens right around that time, or maybe just a rare instance in the summer, maybe we'll just take off a week. And I'll let you know in advance when that is. But just for now, mark it on your calendars. Saturdays and Sundays are piano lessons on the web time. And you're certainly going to check in with the channel and watch all the videos I put out, right? I'm just kidding. I mean, it really helps to watch the videos, but only if you find them actually enjoyable. Let's see what some people have to say before we go, but that's the plan. That's what we're going to do. We've been doing that for a month and a half now or so, pretty successfully. And I just want to let you guys know that that's what we're doing. Okay, let's see what we got. It's 11 p.m. now. Thank you for your lessons. You're very welcome, Joe Jr. Thanks for coming out so late. I'd be in bed by now. So many beats says, I may not get much practice in during the week, but I'm here every Saturday, LOL. Well, that's excellent. I'm glad to see you back again. Trixie says, thanks, Tim. You're very welcome. 8:30 p.m. in my place. I don't know if that's an invite or... No, I'm just kidding. You're just saying that it's 8:30 your place. It just sounds like you're confirming a date or something. Like 8:30 my place. I'm just kidding around. But anyways. So it's 8:30 p.m. for you. What note crosses both clefs? Is it middle C? The answer to that question is yes. I missed that before. You're very welcome, Annette Cannon. Awesome to hear from you. The awesome music says very helpful. Thank you. You're welcome. The ledger line rules are very helpful. Thank you. You are welcome. Again, check out those videos that I've been posting to get some more practice on those. We got Nargis says, thank you, Tim. You're very welcome. And I'm trying to think if there's any last minute things I need to tell you guys. Watch the video tomorrow. Watch the videos I've been putting out. If you want to know, because not everybody knows this actually, which I find is a little, maybe not odd, but because I come from a different time, right? Not all of us are, like computer savvy. So let me show you something. So if you click on my name, so if you find one of my videos and you know how you can like click on the person's username and it will bring you up to this page, which is the channel page, youtube.com/piano/lessons on the web, excuse me. I would just click my name, right? So if you see my name right there, right underneath the title of a video, boom, click it, and it should take you here, right? Yeah, it just took me right back here. So what I want you to do is I want you to scroll down a little bit, and here's all the videos and stuff that I've been chirping at you guys about to watch, telling you guys to watch. I want you guys to watch this entire new course for piano beginners. I would watch it from the very beginning all the way to the current videos that we have on it. We only have a few videos left to make in this course. But for every video, there's a live stream follow-up. And of course, I recommend you watch both, but you at least have to watch the main series videos. So this first one, this one over here, any of the live streams will have live in the title and the thumbnail, so you guys can figure out, like this one says live review. So yeah, that's where you want to go. And then this is just a list of all the videos I've been putting out recently. And if you want to see all the videos, you got to go to the videos tab. I know YouTube moves this stuff around, and you can scroll through and find all the many videos I've been making over the last few years. And then there's also a live tab as well, where you can find all the live streams. So just to let you know about that, because I know, not all of us are caught up on what's going on YouTube, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, I think that's good for today. I want to thank you so much for coming out. Again, courses over on my website, pianolessonsontheweb.com. A great way to invest in both the channel and your own music education as well. We'll talk more about the courses in a future video. I think we're too close to the end here, but just check them out on your own leisure, pianolessonsontheweb.com. You can also use code YouTube for an additional 15% off. Just remember that. All right, guys, thanks for coming by today. It's been your piano teacher, Tim, here. You know that. And I'll see you guys actually when? Tomorrow for a new video, and then I'll see you next week for the live stream. All right, guys, thanks for coming out today. And I'll see you, yes, you, in the next lesson.